Okay, everything's looking pretty good here. We were able to sink this Fernco over to the left and able to kind of dry fit everything overall. Those short 3-inch pieces of PVC are part and parcel of this fitting now. They've been glued in. Purple primer, I like to see that. Whether it's code compliant or necessary to meet code where you are is not necessary to put into the comment section. Not that I have too many comments already, but let's just say that that'll be like that. And so we've got a pretty good, I don't know if you can see it, but the elevation change from here to there is, you know, relatively significant. So it's not the type of elevation change that you could just sort of refit down and make it, you know, and get it there, which is usually a big part of using the plastic, is sort of its flexibility. It's a little greater than we can do by just getting everything pushed and forced in. We need to turn down with an actual fitting, and so we want to use a 22.5, which is half of 45 degrees right to start with. It's going to be the smallest official, you know, angle down. You get the 22.5, 45, 60, and then obviously a 90. This will turn us down and send us basically straight in, obviously when this is all aligned where we want to be. And we turned our trap over, you know, into the foundation wall here, which is what's coming through here. This is a nice degree of flexibility that we've got here. And then once again, we've got a degree of flexibility in this elbow that's on the trap. However, how do I want to put this? This is all conventionally stacked up the way that it would be without any piping. It goes right from the, you know, the drop tube or the tailpiece from this drain that's brass right through a, you know, the nut that goes right into the trap itself. There's the trap body, and then this comes right along with it, which is just an elbow that allows the trap to be removed or disconnected, or that for you to loosen this nut and leave with the rest of this. And this is welded on this end, socket, you know, solvent welded to the, you know, contiguous pipe or whatever, and that stays put. So when you update or renovate and you need to change any of this, you're going to go to there and you put a new trap section on or reuse it when you come back, whatever. Anyway, the major consideration that I've got left, and when I went to the store, I bought a 22.5 and an 1.5 and in a 2, because we got to be 2-inch when we go in here. That's 1.5 there, and somewhere we're going to use a reducer to get from 1.5 to 2. So I had originally thought, well, let's just put this in, we'll go right to 2, and then we'll put the 22.5 on, and everything will be 2-inch to there. The problem is, or not problem, but the reason I'm bringing this up is because usually you're working through a hole in 3/4-inch subfloor here, and you may cut like this much out to get this in place, depending on how much access and stuff that you've got. So there's really only an inch or so between the face of this drain and the top of this trap. It's hard to see, but this is our issue here, because we're gonna basically put concrete all back in here. And if I reduce here, or basically go up in size, I take the top surface of this round of pipe and I take it up by the amount of the shoulder. So I don't need that to be you know, that close to the concrete that's here. It forces us to leave the concrete back further, otherwise you end up with a little, you know, thin skim over the top of it here. So I'm using this as a reason to stay 1.5 in the 22.5 degrees, and come down here, maybe closer, and maybe even right here, finally bush up, or, you know, move up in size to 2-inch. So just wanted to mention that thinking there. So when we come back, when we clean this all up with the grinder, you can see it's kind of shiny on both. I've smashed that on there already, but and then we'll load this up with silicone and all this up with silicone. We'll get everybody in here to where this is just sort of rotating, being able to clock it basically, and then we'll settle on what exact position we want. And before the silicone cures up, we'll tighten down the band clamps, and then we'll come back and look at how it all ended up.